What unhealthy food is actually healthy? Well, fat in general gets a bad rap. But it's pretty universally agreed upon these days that there are a lot of healthy fats that are important for brain function and do not make you fat. Also, foods that have these fats may be seen as unhealthy to someone on a restrictive diet because they are high in calories, but in fact are super healthy. I.e. avocados, walnuts, flax seeds. Eating fats alongside vitamin-rich foods, in particular fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K, can improve absorption of those vitamins. To get the most of your multivitamin supplements, they should be taken with a meal, and they will be most effective if that meal has sufficient oil in it to promote absorption of the fat-soluble vitamins. The water-soluble ones will be absorbed pretty easily since we're mostly water anyways. Wasn't it the old confectionery industry painting fat as the evil rather than sugar? Growing up, I was told how evil eggs were and how bad they were for you because of fat. Eggs are like the ultimate superfood and a great way to get essential nutrients when trying to lose weight. On this note, mayonnaise has a terrible rep, but quality mayonnaise used in reasonable amounts is absolutely fine. Real mayo is just eggs and vegetable oil. It's high in calories, so you shouldn't slather everything in it and maybe avoid it if you are dieting, but a spoonful of mayo is a good source of healthy fats for someone not looking to lose weight. Of course, you should read the side of the package to make sure it isn't loaded with palm oil and salt. Tacos can be very healthy depending on what you put in them. I came here to say tacos. Living in Mexico, everyone always talks about tacos like junk food. Like I want to lose weight, no more tacos, or no more tortillas. But they can be part of a very balanced and healthy meal. I eat too much meat and have started trying to eat more vegetables. Recently I've been trying to go days without meat and more than half of the meals end up being tacos. What are some good ideas for meatless tacos? Cactus tacos. Avocados or black beans as the main ingredient. Rice optional. Then diced tomatoes, chopped onions, lettuce, salsa, sour cream/cheese optional, and a squeeze of lime juice. Straight out of Texas, yo. Edit, nopales, cactus, and rajas con queso, green peppers in a cream sauce, are also popular vegetarian Mexican tacos. I like to think I figured it out being a vegetarian in Texas. Dude, thank you. I was wondering what would be a good meatless option, and this hit the nail on the head. I need to go to sleep, but now I'm hungry as F. I'll add this stuff to the grocery list. Edit, what's a good seasoning to put on something like this? I have a lot of cumin and chili powder, but what is something people commonly sprinkle on this type of thing for seasoning? I like chili powder, cumin, oregano, paprika, I like smoked, and cayenne. Nice. Got to go smoked paprika. That stuff is worth its weight in gold. Bought 3 shaker bottles and never looked back. I mean, beans are pretty delicious. I've had good experiences with just beans and garlic tacos, though you're free to add veggies if you want to fill it out. Mushrooms, beans, grilled veggies are all very tasty. My personal favorite is sautéed mushroom and green onion with cheese. I second sautéed mushrooms. Some days I don't like prepping meat and I just melt a bunch of cheese with some mushrooms and onions. Top with salsa and green sauce for an easy meal. I'm also a huge fan of lentils. Half a cup is 25 grams of protein and will fill about 6 tacos. The thing is that in Mexico we see the tortilla as bread. Imagine that everything that had bread in it was called a sandwich, and that kind of describes the situation in Mexico. Just like you can have very healthy sandwich, or not as healthy grilled cheese with bacon, so it can be with tacos. Even then there's all these dishes that people consider healthy that have tortillas but are but tacos. Take enchiladas. I don't know where in Mexico you are, but on general you can find comidas corridas, which are generally very healthy. Part of the reason is that they always include sides, that is the veggies and whatnot that you may be missing. There's also very healthy veggie tacos and whatnot. But when people talk about tacos in general, it's almost always street food that has the cheapest, less nutritional parts of the animal, with some notable exceptions, using fat and salt to add the lacking flavor. Late night street food, garnachas, etc. But most people know there's a lot of healthy tacos, and most taquerias have 1 or 2 choices that are healthier. The other thing is that the Mexican diet has a lot of excess meat. It's very derived from the native diet, which had very little meat, make natives for their protein from the way corn was prepared using corn that you don't find in the US. Other superfoods of the Americas came forth, squash and beans, with crickets on the side, followed by lizard and snake, fish, and game such as deer, turkey, etc., to the point that Europeans struggled to understand how the diet was healthy. With the mix, the diet became unbalanced to natives, similar to what happened to Pacific Islanders. When I was losing all my weight, I would often get a couple of fresco tacos from Taco Bell. They're like 150 to 160 calories each if you get them fresco style. Taco Bell is actually pretty low calorie compared to most fast food. It has less fried items. Tacos are a great answer though, because you can a lot of different flavors going on too, and it won't break your calorie budget for the day. Taco Bell is legitimately the best drive-through tier fast food if you want to eat healthy, vegetarian, or vegan. They brought back the $1 spicy potato tacos. Really? Those are my jam, along with a crunch wrap with beans subbed for beans. Beans subbed for beans. Say what? The cheesy bean and rice burrito is legendary for vegetarians. Taco Bell actually doesn't do fresco anymore, at least the ones in my area don't, which is super annoying. They don't carry pre-mixed pico and try to charge an extra 40 to 60 cents just to add tomatoes like it's an expensive extra ingredient. Yes. I was doing Weight Watchers a few years back and surprised how well tacos worked with WW, and I lost weight. I ate nothing but tacos for 3 months and lost 10 pounds. Potatoes get a bad rep because they're full of carbs and, of course, how most people tend to eat them. But they're actually a very good way of helping to lose weight, and have most of the nutrients you need. Potatoes have an incredibly high satiety index, that is, how full you feel after eating them. If you plot the satiety index, you'll see a pretty straightforward linear relationship. Those high in sugar tend to have a very low index, which is why you can scoff a tub of ice cream and still feel hungry afterwards. There's one massive outlier, the humble boiled potato. Importantly, this is only true for boiled or baked potatoes. Chips score much lower on the satiety index, less than a 1/4 of the boiled potato. If you are trying to lose weight or maintain a healthy weight, replacing pasta or rice with a boiled or baked potato is a very good to go about doing it. It's much cheaper than all those diet drinks, etc. Web link. Pro tip. Let them cool and then reheat for consumption. Your blood sugar levels won't spike as much. Something about starch. Just Google for more info. Same goes for pasta. Yes, starch changes to what is called resistant starch and pass through the gut and is more difficult to absorb. It is similar to freezing bread and then toasting it becomes resistant starch. There was a guy in Australia who ate only potatoes for a whole year. Actually lost some weight and was healthier at the end than when he started. We'll try and find a reference. Edit. Actually, he lost a heap of weight. Web link. The potato diet exists. Was something that Kevin Smith used after his heart attack to slim down? Was also one of the diets Penn Jillette used? I read Penn did it for 2 weeks to change his eating habits. Yeah, he and Kevin Smith talked about it on one of their podcasts. Eating nothing but plain boiled potatoes with zero spreads or toppings or anything extra for 2 weeks is supposed to basically break your normal relationship with food. Changes your habits, changes your thought process. From there you're supposed to build a healthy diet, vegetables, and whatnot. Those two have gone full vegan. I've thought about trying it, but I don't know if I have the willpower to get through it, to be honest. Give me butter, salt, and bacon bits at the least. Then maybe. But I guess that defeats the purpose. Yeah, I don't know if I could go even 1 week with a diet of just potatoes without even butter. Penn Jillette did the same thing. Web link. You can add a potato to damn near any meal and find that it's welcome. They're cheap, store well, and are easy to cook to boot. Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew. White potatoes are great. They have some nice fiber, potassium, and vitamin C, and a single potato is usually under 200 calories, so they're not that calorie dense. Popcorn is overall a pretty low-calorie snack as long as you don't drown it in too much butter and salt. Then what's the point? Right. Popcorn's there because dumping salt in the butter container and eating it with a spoon is taboo. The crunchiness is nice too. Butter doesn't really get crunchy on its own. Needs more salt. You get popcorn spray and salt them on. Sodium isn't bad for you unless your doctor says so, just stay hydrated and you're fine. Sodium isn't bad for you unless your doctor says so TLDR, I've had some beers, and I'm babbling. Don't bother reading. Public health recommendations can be funny sometimes. I have some leftover salt pills from training for a 50K. It was hell without them, and my blood pressure has always been low, even for someone of my age and activity level, but I still got weird looks from my wife when I bought them, because she's in a totally different place on the curve, and is used to thinking salt is bad. For the overall topic, I just finished having popcorn with rosemary olive oil and black truffle salt, and I'd recommend that to anyone. If anyone reading this is from Edmonton, you're invited over for a movie night with popcorn after we all get out shots. I have Fantastic Planet in case you want to know what the giant white humanoids are all about. I just finished having popcorn with rosemary olive oil and black truffle salt. Did you make the rosemary olive oil and truffle salt, or do you have a recommendation for brands to buy because that sounds delicious? If you want to make a fancy oil, just combine oil with twigs of rosemary and then let simmer for a good while. The oil should take on certain tastes. I make garlic butter this way. I always get an aneurysm trying to figure out how many calories are in a carton. The nutrition facts confuse the heck out of me. Dark chocolate. The darker the healthier. Diabetic here. Sugar-free chocolate is trash and literally has laxative in it, but 90+, dark chocolate works great for me. It's a pretty easy choice. Have you had sugar-free gummy bears? If so, will you ever again? The stories are true. All of them. Web link. I think it's cool that there is candy that is also medicine constipated. Skip the Metamucil, eat a gummy and prepare to meet your God. Just look for any candy with sorbitol in it, that stuff is colon drano. It's what they put in medicated activated charcoal to make it, very slightly, easier to drink because it's sweet but also because it significantly increases GI motility to trap and remove potential toxic overdoses. Translation: it makes you crap like a fire hose. Activated charcoal is not used much anymore as it poses more health risks than it solved. I have to eat low carb and picked up some sugar-free gummies thinking I'd hit the jackpot. They taste great. They feel not great. But I did throw out all my Miralax and Colace, and now I just throw back a handful of gummies if there's ever a need. I bought these by accident before me and my wife went to the zoo together. I literally couldn't stop farting. I'm not talking little ones here and there. Full-on wake-up people across the house stuff. It was fun/nightmarish. 10 would eat again to embarrass my wife. When you can't even blame the zoo animals. Not if they suddenly passed out. Thanks for the link. I have no interest in buying these, but I found the reviews beautifully hilarious and I now plan to read them on the toilet. Boy does Lee Mac, skip to about 040. Web link. I eat the Lily's brand chocolate, they're pretty good. Lily's uses stevia. I'm pretty sensitive to non-sugar sweeteners, and I pretty much hate stevia, but in their chocolate, I really can't tell the difference. I love dark chocolate and sea salt, it's honestly heaven, and I can't stand milk chocolate now, it's way too sweet. Most food is fine in moderation. Processed sugar is a killer though. Processed sugar has so many negative health effects. Most people have no idea. And it's really terrible how much processed sugar is in everything. That's possibly the biggest issue. We all talk about how processed sugar is bad, but then it's in literally everything. And now that it has a bad rap, a lot of food companies are using different names for sugar so people don't really know what to look for. And when you need more shelf-stable items, boxed and canned foods are what you go for over fresh produce. And then we get into the natural sugars in things like fruit. Fruit is so chock full of sugar that it's pretty much on par with most candy and sodas. So you have some people yelling that fruit is the devil because sugar, and others yelling that it's the most healthy thing in the world because natural sugar is great. Note, I'm not saying that fruit is the same as soda, just that they have similar amounts of sugar. The reality is that we as a country, speaking solely for the US, though I'm confident other countries have the same problem, have a massive sugar addiction that is only made worse by lobbying and marketing from various sugar and processed food-related industries. My pet peeve is when a company doesn't want sugar to be the first ingredient on their list, so they split it into like 9 different names for sugar to put each lower on the ingredients list. Don't know about other countries, but in the UK, food often has a nutritional table, so rather than look at the ingredients, except briefly, I check the sugar content per 100 grams. Tells you without any fudging how much sugar there is in it. Jesus, I would love to have the US do every nutrition label as per 100 grams. It would get rid of the loopholes that spray oil is 0 calories and Tic Tacs are too. Any serving size under 1 gram can be reported as 0. It's dumb. It's a running joke in our family that if one of us notice 0 milligrams on nutrition labels, we say, "It just says ONG. Must be pretty bad." That's ridiculous. They usually do it per 100 grams and per serving size, so like 270 grams for cereal, 36 grams for a chocolate bar or whatever it is. It's really useful. It's worse because serving sizes are so arbitrary. For this huge bag of chips, the serving size will be 1 cup. What the F is 1 cup of chips? Is it chips grounded up? Chips crunched into a cup. Chips equal to the metric weight of 1 cup. Yeah, America has those too, lol. I don't know what these people are talking about, since they're so clearly labeled on there. That's the friggin' worst. It's crap like that makes the whole thing even more confusing, and it's exactly how you end up with advice like avoid anything that contains words ending in infinite list of chemical names for sugar, which inevitably get wrongly summarized as avoid all chemicals and things you can't pronounce. The thing with fruit is that it does have fiber in it, which makes you absorb the sugar a lot slower, as well as having lots of vitamins and minerals that your body needs. As long as you pair fruit with protein and or fat to keep your blood sugar from spiking, and then crashing, it's pretty healthy in moderation. But you're right, soda and candy, which is just sugar, is really not good for people outside of small amounts here and there. Don't 100% cut it out, because what is forbidden becomes enticing and it's easy to binge on it, but moderating it or adding it to a mostly healthy diet once in a while isn't the worst thing to do, bearing food allergies or other health conditions. Every sugar gram from fruits is in much more volume of food. If you compare it to candies or some cakes, etc. For example, apples have lots of sugar in them, but you have to eat 4 big apples to get 100 grams versus Skittles are almost only sugar, so by eating 100 grams of those got you the same. It's because we've waged this war on fat thinking it's the worst thing ever to eat. Thing is, all these reduced fat or fat-free products taste pretty bad without fat. So guess what they add to it to make it taste better? Add in the fact that the corn industry is subsidized heavily, so when they put corn syrup and high fructose corn syrup in products, it's so cheap on the shelf people are drawn to it. I picked up some dried mangoes the other day. Coated in sugar and seemingly candied in a syrup or some crap. Are mangoes seriously not sweet enough? Like holy crap, who has unsweetened dried mango and things? This needs to be sweeter. Literally, people in India end up at the doctor because their blood sugar spiked from too much FR. Everyone sucks here. Mango. Unprocessed sugar is 99%, just as bad. Just eat less sugar. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.